Hello and welcome to Stockwatch, presented by me, Evan Lucas, for Go Market Securities. As always, please have a very good read through of the disclaimer on screen. Everything in this video is general in nature, none are relied upon as any form of personal advice. Go Market Securities does not know your personal scenario, nor your personal financial goals, and therefore none are relied upon as any form of advice at all. It's just general in nature only. Want to look at car sales today. It's a stock that has gone as high as $25.96 back in September 2021. It got up into the high wire 25s in April this year and then eased off quite significantly when the pressure around inflation, etc. came in and car sales started to slow down. But in saying that, they've now come out what looks like pretty reasonable numbers. Again, forward guidance had been given. They confessed to us back in July, so there wasn't a huge amount of surprises. But in saying that, if you look at reported revenue, 509 million bucks, that beat their top end of their guidance. They had it from 506 to 508, so that's a beat in terms of what you sit there. Reported revenue came in at 261, which is a 17% jump year on year. EBITDA, $145 million, 12% year on year, and NPAT came in at 160 million. That, I think, is a disappointment because guidance had been 161 to 163. So to be just shy of that is a little bit under, unfortunately. But in saying that, the revenue movement in the second half of the year was impressive. $86 million net profit for the second half of FY22, 24% year on year, can probably excuse that slight miss on the whole numbers. And then you look through the business and looking at the five major areas that car sales do. Dealer revenue was up 11%. Private revenue was up 16.5% year on year. Media and display revenue also 18.7% to 28 mil. That's a really good read. You look at data and research revenues, 5.5%. This is a new part of their business. It's doing all right in terms of what it sits in at $22.3 million. You also like to see that. And they're all slight beats on the market. So when you get into the granular detail, it's quite good to see. And then their Asia revenue, so places like Korea, etc., 10.8% increase year on year to $48.3 million. A little bit soft, not surprising. Asia has had issues around COVID. We know particularly in places like South Korea, Japan, also into Southeast Asia, there's been lockdowns, particularly at the back half of the year. So you can excuse that as well. Overall, good growth on adjusted revenue. And I think that needs to be clear. Very strong growth on the outlook revenue and adjusted EBITDA revenue for FY23. So that's a positive as well. There's no real major surprises that came out in it. And I think, again, looking at what car sales are doing, the momentum they've got in their new products across media and data research, you look at car sales here in Australia, you look at Korea, they're doing quite nicely. And it probably explains why they're up 1% on the day of the results. But overall, it shows that there is a solidness to it. And the inflation story isn't necessarily getting into car sales. So a good result from car sales. It also shows that the market's sell-off in June may have been overdone, and that recovery that's had may actually now continue further.